Let's go! Woo! Boys, are you out there?
Let's go.
Let's go! You hear that? That's a dude all the way out in the sticks. He flew in from the chicken coop.
Wait up.
We got our boy Shane in the house this week, boys. Woo!
I actually just got 7 more chickens last night, actually.
I knew
Did
that.
you really?
I knew that.
They're fully grown.
I knew that.
The baby stage. So
Nice.
added to the flock, 7 more.
They're just growing in size.
Can I ask, how do you keep adding chickens without adding coops? How tight is that coop? You have 2 coops now, right?
It's a giant coop. It's my old shed.
Yeah.
So it's 15 by 10.
I thought you filled that though that was already filled.
Oh no, just chickens. So
Yeah, they only need what is it, 3 feet for it to be humane or something like that, 3 by 3, some shit like that.
50 more. I could fit 50 more chickens in there.
Yeah,
Easy.
Easy. 50 more.
We gotta watch out, McDonald's. We got a new guy in
Fox gets
town.
in that hen house. Oh my god, literal bloodbath.
Right.
Dude, it's gonna be a food coma.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Well, enough about Shane's cocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more the merrier, he says. It was a heck of a week, boys. Us podcast boys, we had a good week. 3-0. There's someone that's on this podcast right now that did not win. I will not.
Only one.
Damn it. I will not call that person out. But I'm sure if you're smart enough, you can deduce it. So, Shane, how are you feeling after your first ever sub 100 game, buddy? Well, not ever, but your first this year.
Definitely still the best RB room in the league.
Yeah, okay.
Kenneth Walker and Bijan, just studs.
Yeah.
They completed about 7 points. That wasn't good, but Burrow and Higgins looking good, and I think Jamar Chase isn't looking too hot, unfortunately. But what else? What happened? Made the wrong choice in defense.
Mm-hmm.
With the Cowboys D, I thought about, one of them defenses playing the rookie quarterbacks, like the Packers or something. But went with the Cowboys, the number 1 defense, and
Go there and Metcalf. What happened there?
yeah, Goddard, broken arm.
Well, so I wanted to ask you about that real quick, Shane. Why did you make the choice to play? I get that Dallas is the number 1 defense, but why did you play them when you had 2 of the opposing players playing? To me, that just limits your upside. If both those players are going off, your defense is not going to do well, and vice versa. If your defense is doing well, most likely at least one of them might do okay, but both of them. So I was just curious on that situation, why you chose against 2 players. I can see if you had 1, but when you had 2 players on the other team.
Yeah, just banking on a Dallas Cowboys defensive touchdown.
Okay, that's fair. They are prone to do that a lot. I mean, so that's a fair point. Like I said, I just wanted to get your insight on that. But yeah, I mean, your team's okay, Shane. I mean, I don't know about the best RB room in the league, but your first bad performance, so you'll get over it, buddy. I got faith in you. B-Man, how you feeling? 4 out of 5.
Dude, snuck by again. I thought for sure I was going to be dealing with one of those Monday night. I did the math. I was like, I'm only 53 points. I left roughly 11 points on my bench. And I was like, fuck. That's going to be the difference. And I got super lucky.
Little cake eating action.
You know what, B-Man? Don't apologize for eating cakes. These motherfuckers been eating cakes all year. All right, so don't apologize for that.
I'm not apologizing for getting my share of the cake.
Everybody gets some.
A little more in this podcast than most, but yeah. For sure.
I think Josh, you technically ate some cake this past week as well, scoring under 120. But you got it done.
Shane, did you hear my thing about what was it last week when I said like 120? That's not fair, bro, because it depends week to week. I was the fourth highest scoring player this week, bro.
But what I'm saying is, don't be surprised if you take an L scoring under 120.
You're one to talk, buddy. Let me tell you about that.
hold
You're
myself
one to talk about that.
I hold myself accountable.
I take full responsibility.
I'm just saying, with how much ass whooping I've taken this year, I'm okay with scoring under one. I'm not expecting it, but I'm not ashamed of it either, bro.
Me neither.
Greg, yeah, you snapped your little losing streak you had going on there. How you feeling?
I don't know if you call one loss a losing streak, but thanks.
Well,
Yeah,
you'd lost like two.
one.
You lost like 2 or 3 out of like. Yeah, you lost. You had one win, but you lost like 2 out of 3 or something like that.
No, I've. If you look at my wins, I've won and lost back and forth.
Have you really?
I believe so. Yeah. Well,
Mind
I don't.
blowing.
There might be 2 losses in there somewhere, but I do believe I was at 1 loss. Regardless, yeah, I feel good. It's my team is consistent. I got some great players. I got some great offenses, and it's working out.
Dude, I love your kicker.
Yeah, Koo is the best kicker. Like, no matter what, that kicker on that team, I'm so happy when Dan dropped him. Like, I'm gonna play him plug and play the rest of the year, minus his bye week, just because of that offense and the way they function. So, unless Arthur Smith gets fired real quick, who knows? But he must have some love.
Oh, please.
I mean, he must have some love in the front office because
For sure.
he
To
should be
look
gone.
like a fucking child molester out on that field every fucking week and get away with
He looks
it.
like a Muppet on crack, dude. It's
Thank you.
disgusting.
Yeah,
Dude. It's
to fucking get
disgusting.
away with that, you gotta have friends up in the high
Yeah,
places.
100%. But yeah, no, I'm feeling good. Once Lamar stopped, the Baltimore's just blowing teams out. So, and he's still, once they have some closer games, he's going to start putting up points. If you look at the games that are closer, he's putting up like plus 20, 30. So, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, Baltimore's defense is scary right now, dude.
Dude, the team in general is fucking looking. We might see a Baltimore Lions Super Bowl this year, boys. That'd be sick.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want. Go ahead, Shane.
NFC team. I think the Eagles are the best NFC team, and then yes, the Ravens in the AFC.
Okay.
Yeah, the issue with the Eagles though is they got a tough schedule coming up. They had Dallas, they get San Fran coming up. They the one other tough team I forgot who it is, but then they get Dallas again. So I mean, they might, where the Lions have a pretty easy schedule going forward outside of this week's game in Dallas in week 17. So if they don't get that 1 seed because of that tough schedule, that's where, the Lions might have a shot if they're able to swoop in and get that. But who knows? It's anyone's game once it gets to the playoff. You just want to make it. I did it twice, fucking 8 seed, and just fucking went to the Super Bowl and beat Brady and ended their undefeated season, or whatever.
The Chargers are looking pretty good. Well, yesterday they looked pretty good, and the Lions got to play the Chargers, so it'll be a good test to see.
Yeah,
what it speaks,
Chargers offense struggling.
I'm excited for that game. Like you said, it's going to be a great test. Craig, I just looked it up. You had lost 3 or 4 before last week. So
ooh,
what?
2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
You lost week 5 and 6. You won 7. You lost 8. You won 9. So you had lost 3 or 4 before last week. So I was right. You were wrong.
Are you fucking hide? You know what a streak is? It has to be in consecutive order. It can't be a win in the middle of that. Be like it's a. Never mind. I can't believe.
Oh my gosh, Mr. Technicality over here, like he never misspeaks.
Mr. The exact definition of a streak. What are you talking about? Okay.
Yeah, and then I corrected myself. Said, oh well, you had won like 3 or 4. That's still a bad streak that you ended. So
yeah,
whatever. Well, we know how this podcast is gonna go.
Way to go, Shane.
Geez, Shane, really fucking this up.
Yeah, let's just go back to talking about his chickens. All right. But yeah, all right. No one else has got anything else to say about last week? No. Just want to make sure no one has any feelings they have.
Your trade, and how that affected things just minimally.
Oh, you want to vent?
What's that?
Is that what you're saying, Shane? Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Accountability. Go ahead.
No, we kind of did it already quite a bit, but Rashad White, he got his couple touchdowns. Who's the other guy? Who's the receiver he just got?
Olave!
Yeah, Olave touchdown finds the end zone, and then Cleveland Browns defense 25 points, not bad.
Yeah,
But
that was a lot of points.
It's like they're like a top 5 defense or something. It's really weird.
Either way, yeah, because I scored 96 points, so nothing.
Yeah,
matters.
is there a point to this, or are we just gonna state the obvious for like the 18th time about how many points they scored? We all know how many points they scored. It's been brought up plenty of times, and if you want me to go on my rant about
It's been
you
brought up
guys
plenty of times
over,
by me. I think the whole league needs to dog pile on top of Josh, just so it to be out there. I want the whole league to dog pile on Josh for reaching out and saying, Dan, here's a lifeline into the playoffs. Here you go. Here you go. Collusion.
guess what? Dan could have not started any of those guys and still would have won. So it didn't matter. It did not matter
this week.
I think Dan had a bottom 3 team, and then after the trade, now he's like a top 5 team.
He's middle of the pack. I'd say he's contending for sure. He plugged 2 holes. He had 2. He was going into the playoffs with no RB2.
When you plug 2 holes.
Oh, that's right.
The DP.
The old DP.
I saw that somewhere.
I saw that somewhere. I think that's in my history, my search history somewhere.
Yeah, that's ringing a bell.
Anyways, but he doesn't have a quarterback. Who's Dan got? Deshaun Watson?
Well, I might as well just I might as well just give him Tua for pennies on the dollar. I mean, why not? You know, piss someone else off this week.
If you can be anything, be consistent, Josh.
Yep, be consistent. After 1 week, we can decide everything. But
now,
8 weeks
see.
before,
Feeling
8 weeks before, no, that doesn't mean nothing. But 1 week, God, that tells everything. You know?
It would be interesting, like it's funny with how the name affects things, right? Because if it was like Jamar Chase or anybody, it'd be like, oh shit, that's dope. But because it's Thielen, that's why it's a little, it's why it's just a little.
Right, and that's why I find it hilarious that you guys are reacting the way you are to the trades, because if it was Jamar Chase who was wide receiver 8, you guys would be like, oh my god, that was such an amazing trade, Josh. Like, you trade raped him, but because the name's Adam Thielen, and that's what I was getting to the point about last week about how, you guys are letting who it is affect your judgment of the trade.
For sure.
Sure. I mean, because the name does mean something though. Like, he is older, and they're on a losing team, and you'd think he might work in still. Again, it's like when you see Adam Thielen doing elite receiving work, it's not like, oh, dude, he's breaking out. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's having a good stretch. Some might say a streak.
But that's the great thing. That's a great thing about fantasy football, though, is it's not always about your fucking talent or your age. It's sometimes about the situation. True. And Adam Thielen, that's exactly what it is. The situation is perfect for him right now. Was last week bad? Yes. Was I stoked about, 1 target in the first half and no catches? No, but that happens. Guess what? Freaking, I was also sat there when Chris Olave had 15 targets and he got me barely 10 points. Like, that's so,
I think
targets.
What's that, Shane?
15 targets is a good thing. I mean, I like to see that. And just because.
But you know who else gets 15 targets? Adam Thielen. So, I think
the biggest thing was the complementary pieces, not Thielen and Olave in general. I think it was just, I think most people just think he overpaid is all.
You guys all think I overpaid because of the defense, which, yes, they balled out this week. But I've also been there where I faced them against fucking, who was it? Indianapolis. Yeah, they got me 14 points. So that's because they had a touchdown and a shit ton of turnovers. They also gave up 500 yards and a bunch of touchdowns and shit. Like, we all know how volatile defense is in and how matchups don't always mean shit. So was this week that it went off? Yes, but that's why I'm okay just trading fucking defenses, because they're so volatile and we all hate them and want to get rid of them anyways. So in my eyes, go ahead.
Realistically, the trade, it's too early. Like, this is more or less for fun. Like, I like to pile on you because it's fun, because it's easy, right? It's low hanging fruit. Like, clearly week 1, your trade got shit on, but again, it could pan out for you. And Dan could fuck himself by starting 4 Browns like an idiot. He's going to have 4 fucking Browns players. So you never really know how it's going to work out until the playoffs. We'll see what happens.
And that's the thing. To me, for Dan, this has been an unholy or an ungodly lucky season for him. He loses Nick Chubb. He loses Justin Jefferson. And just somehow he keeps fucking winning. You know what I mean? Like,
he's making these trades and staying alive.
Like, even before that, though, you guys are acting like, I guess I shouldn't say it like that, but like, you guys are piling on like if my trade made him a 6-3 team. He was already 5-3 before my trade. Like, so it's like he was already winning and stuff. Like, yeah, you could think his team sucks, but at the end, he's winning. Oh, you're just adjusting, Shane.
Did you have something to say, Shane? You have something to say about that?
Oh, yeah, Dan and his magical unicorn wins.
So I look at Dan kind of like I look at Thielen, right? Like, it's gonna come to an end. His streak, his random blow up games are gonna just come to an end. He's gonna get to the playoffs. He's gonna have holes. He's gonna have all these things. He knew it. He would talk to me all the time, like, dude, I know I'm gonna have a losing streak. I know I'm gonna get to the playoffs, and I need to find a way to fill these holes, or I'm fucked. Which is why it's another reason why I thought it was funny that no one vetoed the trade. So I just
right.
I'm going to go ahead and, when we do trophies at the end of the year, I'm going to vote Dan Manager of the Year at this point because he has fucking maneuvered his way into the playoffs. He's in the playoffs. He got a win this last week. He's in the playoffs. It's going to be like
even if he were to like lose out, he's most
doesn't
likely
matter.
in the
playoffs.
playoffs.
Now he just has to like tinker to like have a good starting lineup, and we'll see what happens.
Right, and we don't know with like injuries and shit what's going to happen. That's why like it's rough because like I said before, like Olave. Yeah, he's way more talented. I obviously expected him to be better than Thielen before, but the production is just not there. And we're 8 weeks in, and at what point do those 8 weeks matter compared to, like, you say it's going to stop at some point? Well, is this just one bad game, or is this Craig's right about it stopping?
We'll see.
But at the same time, it might not. That's just the way fantasy is.
That's right.
You think at some point, oh, this thing has to stop, but it doesn't. So, all right, that's enough of that. I spent way more on that than we wanted to. Yeah, you're done with it, Shane. You're done.
Let Shane have some more. What do you got, Shane? Keep going on, man. Keep going. Let him
Fine. Go ahead, Shane. Kidding. Go on about nope. I'm just kidding. All right, let's so I wanted to real quick. We are 5 weeks away from the playoffs. So I just wanted to do a little breakdown here and see what you guys thought, okay? Excuse me. So,
man, I'm scared of that B man. He's got so much steam behind him.
So much steam, dude. Locomotive.
He likes it when his ass is all. He's got that ass sweat going. Really gets him going. But all right, so if the playoffs started today, Justin would have the bye. That's no surprise right now. And then it'd be Mac versus Bren, the 2 versus 7. Dan versus Barber, the 3 versus 6. And Craig versus Shane, the 4v5.
I love that.
I wish I could verse him. I'm going to whoop your ass in the Shane play. That's all I know.
So, I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was like,
Sanders?
That's probably like that'd be like the worst matchup probably for Dan would be Barber. I think. Yeah. But, so that'd probably be the one he doesn't want to happen. But yeah, so the standings are Nate's 10th, I'm 9th, Funk 8th, obviously Bren 7, Barber 6, Shane 5, 4 is Craig, 3 is Dan, 2 Mac, 1 is Justin. And the only reason why I reset that, even though I just went over whatever one is because like it's still anyone's game. Now I don't really see like Nate or myself or Funk, like if we make the playoffs, we're not going to be like a 2 seed. We're going to be like a 7, maybe a 6 seed, depending who's there. We can maybe move up to, but that's pretty much what we're reaching for right now. But honestly, the 1 seed is up for grabs. You got Justin at 7-2, Max 6-3, Dan 6-3. Craig, you're 5-4. I still give you a shot just because of your points 4. Shane, I know you're 5-4, but you're well over 100 points behind, behind Craig or whatever. That's, huh?
Yeah, but 5 wins versus 7 wins. That ain't nothing. 5 weeks left.
Yeah, but I'm going based off points 4. I don't see I don't see you surpassing Justin. You have to beat him by. You have to
if Justin
win
had
3.
8, then yes. Yeah, that's all.
I mean, realistically, you have a shot, but I feel like if you're going to get the 1 seed, it's going to be a tie and come down to points for, which I don't think you can make up that ground. Because I guess if you're going by your standards, then yes, like technically, I have a shot at the 1 seed. I mean,
You did the math already. It's actually a 43% chance I can still do it.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man.
Solid, man.
I did.
That was
I believe
quick.
it. I believe it.
I
Cranked
like
out.
it.
Great.
Well, speaking of that though, we have toughest strength of schedule remaining based on
Oh.
records.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So of course Bren and I have the hardest
Of course.
Yes.
schedule
Thank
remaining.
God.
Naturally.
I need you out, Brent. I'm scared as shit of you. I need you out of here.
Saquon Barkley, all them goons.
Stafford comes back.
Justin has the 3rd hardest.
Good.
And the crazy thing is Justin finishes the season facing Mac and Dan, who are 6-3 right now. So if things continue like that, those 2 weeks could decide who's the number 1 seed. So that part is hardest for Justin, but overall he's the 3rd hardest. Funk is the 4th hardest. So hard.
God, Josh, you're so hard. All right, sorry.
Dan and Craig, you guys are tied for the 5th/6th hardest schedules.
I love
Mac is the 7th hardest.
Oh, it's so hard.
English is, it's hard as English.
Sure.
I should stick to Spanish. Nate is 8, and then shocker, who's at the bottom? Shane and Barber tied for the easiest schedule remaining.
Well,
That
I had to
is-
play Mac twice this year, so
What
Who?
would you have to play?
play Mac twice.
Cool.
Oh, he drafted the best team, so
He did. He
He
did.
did. He does have a solid team, but it's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, not a lot of pieces are falling into place anymore. It's separating into like more of the just a top half team at this point.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I don't think there's. I think everyone. I don't want to say everyone, but like, I think it is just like top half team. There's no like, this person's the clear. Like last year, Barber during the regular season was like the clear heavyweight person. I don't think there's really that person this year, which says by the record. I mean, there's no like this.
change stuff. It's kind of like the NFL, how there's not really a clear top team. Like it's maybe the Ravens,
Yeah.
Eagles, 49ers.
There's clearly bad teams, and then everyone else is in contention. I would say
Yeah.
that. There's clearly that there's like a lower tier based on injuries and performance, and then there's people who don't have that.
Well, and it's crazy. I'm pulling out my phone because it's on my phone, but let me get to it real quick. So, like Nate, even though his record is 2-7, he has the 5th most points. Like,
And his points
whereas-
against are high too.
right? He's I think 2nd in that one behind me. So you got something like that where like if Nate, like obviously he right now especially he's gonna win any tiebreaker between me, Funk, and Bren.
Right.
Basically, and Shane right now. But Shane, you're closer. You're only like 50 points behind him, so that could be made up in 5 games. But I still don't understand how Funk is 3-6. The kid has the 8th or the 2nd least points for, but he has the least points against or something like
I'll tell
that.
you how.
Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
McCaffrey, dude, is the best fucking player in the league still.
The kid pretty much puts up like 130 or more or under 100. Like there's no in between. It's ridiculous. Like
P-Funk would have had a real shot this year, but I mean, funny enough, our next segment I'll talk about some of the reasons why he's not. But I mean, if he drafted a couple different pieces, he'd be right up there with the rest of us.
Well,
Yeah.
Funk had the worst draft this year, and unfortunately, it's because of his 3rd, 4th, and his 5th picks. He got who was his 3rd? Najee Harris,
Yeah.
Ridley, and then Damian Pierce.
See, I disagree with that because like I guess if you're looking at it in hindsight, like from today, knowing what we know, yeah. he had the worst draft. But at the time,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't,
exactly
I don't,
what I'm saying.
yeah, at the time, I don't think it was the worst draft though. We all had high hopes for Ridley. We all, at least I did. I thought Damian
Ridley,
Pierce was gonna be
Ridley.
a service.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I thought Pierce was gonna be serviceable. Like he would just be like that solid kind of RB2, not you didn't think he'd be an RB1 or whatever.
After draft day, I thought Funk had like the best team, him and Mac. So I had high hopes for Ridley, Najee Harris, Pierce, and all them.
Right. I mean, it's easy to 8 weeks later be like, oh yeah,
But
those draft
Yeah.
picks sucked. Like if we
that,
knew that then.
that's what I'm saying right now, and for our segment when we talk about
Right.
the
Yeah.
best
No, I see what you're saying,
You-
Shane.
Oh, gotcha.
and the
Yeah,
biggest bust.
I think Najee was reached for a little bit. The other two players, by all means, I agree where they were drafted, whereas where they would have gone regardless, depending on who got them.
Yeah.
But Najee, I thought was a little high because I mean, I traded I had him and I traded him to Justin, and there was a lot of like mid review about him of just like he's volume based, 10 points, 12 points. Like I wouldn't say a second round pick, more of like a fifth round pick, but I think
Yeah.
that was
To me, he's young, and I heard a lot of buzz about the Steelers' offensive line getting improved, like dramatically.
Yeah.
And just like their whole offense, Pickens, Deontay Johnson, everybody's coming to fruition. But
There was a lot of hype. You're right.
There was.
the Steelers, they're winning football games, but for fantasy, the Steelers are not very good.
Correct.
No,
Amazing
you got like
coaching.
you got like two players you can count on, and that's Deontay and maybe Pickens. That's about it. Which is weird because Kenny Pickett sucks. So like the fact that you can like kind of like have two viable wide receivers is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just to wrap up this, my kind of point about doing this was just because how Dan was saying like the loser between Nate and I, like are we eliminated? And like no, because there's 5 weeks left, so like there's still plenty of shuffling around to be had. And it's not just at the bottom; it's at the top too. Mid to top. That it's still really anyone's game 5 weeks in, and this is like I said, this is the closest it's been from top to bottom. Normally, you have like the top half is really good, and then the bottom half is really bad, and those are the people scrambling. But this year, it could be anyone. So
yeah, we're getting too close. We're getting too close to score. We're gonna have to change up the format next year, boys. That's all. Moving on.
I thought about that. What if we just lost divisions and just did a straight 14-week season? Yeah,
the most drama we get is like a subpar trade in a season. Everything else is too close. We gotta spice it up and get more drama in this league. Get some life in some of these fucking guys. Good lord.
I agree. There is some staleness in this league for sure. But everything I always offer with league punishments, with whatever, no one wants to do it. It always gets voted down. So I kind of have, and it's not just that. It's just like it's new league rules too, or whatever. New scoring ways, whatever. But everyone wants to do that. What's up, Shane?
We're like old people. We just slowly implement, like half PPR, full PPR, keeper, and then maybe this year our goal can just be to add something like a guillotine league, and then have that determine your draft order.
Either draft order or you shoot for draft orders, because we got those old heads that are so stuck to the drinking the shot, even though half of us can't handle it no more. Out of the look. Although I don't know, I kind of want to get rid of that after how Dan almost punched Bren's mom in the face.
Yeah, that was that was ridiculous.
It's becoming unsafe.
I think she would have deserved it, to be honest.
I mean, it was
you can't ruin a game like that. Like,
it's like when you're watching the NFL. If there's a penalty on the play, it's good, but when the guy goes and hits the guy that does the penalty, it's no good. We don't want that. That's
just saying,
wrong. Don't make it right.
If you're going to do that, Dan, you better be ready to have us be at the cabin in Houghton Lake every year, because I don't know if we'd be allowed back after that.
I don't know why we're driving 4 hours to go up north. We just go to fucking Jerry's pool, dude. I don't know what we're doing. We just go to Jerry's pool on a real nice day, and I can sleep in my bed hammered the same night.
Yeah, that's true. We could still have like a guys' weekend up there, but fucking like for the draft and shit to get everyone there, we should just do it at Jerry's pool, where it's a lot closer for everyone, a lot easier to take a day off instead of a whole weekend or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe if they're up for it, you know, obviously I don't want to just assume we're
Well, that and it's like
welcome.
if you got kids that day, it's the pool. Bring
Bring
your
them,
kids.
yeah. Bring the
Yeah.
wife and kids. Yeah, we'll do our thing while they slave away watching the kids, and you know.
It's dude. The kids are all at that age too, where they're mimicking stuff too. So you'll be hearing
Yeah.
like, "Damn it,
Right.
Brad's an ass." Yeah,
Mommy, why did Daddy puke after taking that drink?
yeah.
I mean, you're gonna
So,
have
but
to
anyways,
teach them at some point. Like,
True.
right,
you know.
True.
exactly. You know, so but we've alluded to it about the segment coming up. Our guest here wanted to do a little some draft busts and draft steals. You know, now that we're 8 weeks in, you can kind of see, you know, the trends and stuff of where people are at. Now, I wanted to ask this real quick of you guys. So I'll go one by one here. Shane, how did you determine this? Like, are you going based off of what has happened so far, or are you also projecting forward? Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
Yes, it does, because like Jonathan Taylor's a good example. Like he hasn't been very good for your team overall this season, but going forward, I think Jonathan Taylor is a huge. So it is.
A little bit
It's
of
all,
both.
a little bit of both, but I would say going forward more so.
Okay.
It's not
Correct.
needed anyways. So
I both. So I mean, clearly up to this point matters, and also moving forward. So I did both. I
Okay.
included both of those in mine.
B
so
man,
like the
what about?
situation
Oh,
you're in with what the team looks like. You know, if the Raiders' offense you think looks good,
mhm.
then you
Yep.
know
If
his
you
value.
if you have Arthur Smith as a coach, you know, things like that.
Well, so all right, we'll go with real quick, Shane. We'll go with B man because he only has one. So who's your draft bust, B man, and how did you come about this person?
So worst pick of the draft. It was the easiest one, dude. Michael Thomas.
Oh no, okay. Dude, he's so consistent.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I'd say Juju. Juju was top for me,
Oh,
man.
he
He's
was
up there, dude. He's up
He
there.
didn't
JJ was
even
one of
make it.
mine too.
Didn't even make it a week or two into the fucking league.
No, he
Well,
didn't
I
make.
mean,
Might have been
B
1
man,
week.
I don't think there's any explanation needed. Did you want to give any on that, or is it just?
There's no explanation
No.
needed for
Yeah,
what.
okay. I didn't think so. I was just, you know.
It was
So I'll
the
go
worst
with.
pick of the
I'll
draft.
go.
That's all there is to it.
Well, and unfortunately, I feel like I'm picking on Shane here, but I feel like
Get him, dude.
the next easiest is Bijan.
Oof.
You
I have
drafted.
him. I have him as
Hey,
well.
Yeah.
let me defend myself if I could.
Well, hold on. Let me attack you first before you
Okay.
defend
Yeah.
yourself.
Come on, there's a process here.
Yeah, there's a process. Because
Okay.
now, granted, my process in doing this, I stayed away from keepers because you know, like Olave in the ninth, Wilson in the ninth,
Right.
like those are
Right.
already value. So I stayed away
Sure.
from those, even if there were underperforming. I stayed away from those. Anyone with like an extensive that missed like 6 games out of the first 8. I didn't really try projecting because you know that gets a little sticky with like injuries and stuff like that. But so I tried to make it just basically what's happened from the draft till now, where you drafted them and stuff. So Bijan, you drafted him with the top 4 pick, and you expected him to be a top 5 running back at least. You know, at worst top 10, and he's not even that.
Yeah. Is that all you got?
Well, I was distracted by Craig putting orange balls in his mouth. But even with that, with Bijan, if you want to play the projection game, what was it? Bijan only has 1 goal line carry this year, the whole year. He has 1 goal line carry, and I know you said before, like sometime this week, about how the Atlanta Falcons were more pass heavy than regular. That should benefit Bijan because Cordero's injured, so he's not taking that role. Algiers not he's not a pass catching back, so Bijan should be flourishing in a pass catching role, but they're just not using him. And the comments from Arthur Smith about how he said something along the lines of Bijan is doing great with like basically being a decoy, creating space for other people. Like it just doesn't. It just, it's just where you drafted him and the results now. And I don't see anything that's like, okay, at least he's getting 20 touches a game. He's not getting that. At least he's getting this. Like, there's no really usage stats or anything that are pointing to anything changing anytime soon. So am I saying he's never going to have a blow up game or two going forward? No, I'm not saying that. But based on where you drafted him, he hasn't produced anywhere close to what you expected, nor do I think that's going to change. So now you can defend yourself.
Heard.
All right. All that, and he is still the number 13 RB, which isn't terrible, you know. So it's not like this guy. It's not like this guy is 30th or higher than that.
I have a rebuttal to that when you're done.
Every game he's had double digits, 10 or more points, except for this week that just happened, and the week where he was sick and only had one carry in the last drive of the game. So you take that out, then he's had double digits in every week. So yes, he's been bad. He's been bad. Like, he's deserved to be drafted more in like the third round, but
mine's really simple. I would just say you draft him in the first. He's not first round material. Like you said, he's third round material. His 2 first games of the seasons are really putting his points per game forward. It's really heavy weighted towards those first 2 games where he got 20 points each. And again, like, you draft him in the first, you would expect him to be a top 5. Like, look at all the other running backs drafted in the first. You expect him to be top 5, top 10. He's floating. All in all, I think he's a bust.
And he's got an easier schedule going forward too.
Yeah.
Go ahead, B man.
Yeah, this kind of like goes off of my point that I made early in the year. I think it was week 1, where I was worried that you drafted 2 rookie running backs. And I said that nobody's made an impact like Adrian Peterson has since he was a rookie. And you were like, Kenneth Walker, blah, 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 some other gay shit, I don't know. Not true. Like, the fact of the matter is like, Bijan and Jameer are not, like, excelling necessarily. So, it does hurt where you drafted him, but I think he was getting drafted in the first round by someone.
Someone was taking him, for sure.
Right, well, it's one of those who kind of bit the bullet.
Correct.
Go ahead, Craig.
No, I don't think he makes it past that 9-10 turn, or the 10-11 turn. So
yeah, I would have taken him at 8.
Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah.
But anybody that lands outside the top 10 in your first round's a bust. You can't argue it.
Well, I mean, like, who would have thought? The Falcons, the most run-heavy team in the league. Who would have thought that Bijan isn't working out?
Dude, I told you why. I told you. They only run the ball. They run the clock down. There's just less plays overall in Atlanta every time they play.
And that Tyler kid showed pretty good skills last year.
Right. Well, and to be fair, we're not arguing your selection of him, Shane. We're just arguing that, like,
he's a bust.
He hasn't produced well.
He's not first round.
Because, like I said, Shane, I'm with you. I would have drafted him in the first round. I don't know if I would have drafted him that high. I forgot who the order or whatever, but I would have taken him at 8 for sure. So, like, I still would have labeled him in this bust category if I had taken him at 8. Like, so don't take this as I'm saying you made a horrible decision drafting him. And my only rebuttal, real quick, Shane, because I see you want to say something, to the whole he's RB13 is, and this is where the whole RB1 thing gets a little shaky, because, like, if everyone is healthy, he's not RB13. Monty would be ahead of him. Kyron Williams, I think, is still ahead of him, but if he's not, he would probably be ahead of him. Like, if everyone's healthy, he's more closer to that RB3 range. He's a low-end RB2 than he is RB13, is what I'm saying. And plus, you've had RBs that have already had bye weeks, where he hasn't had his yet. So, like, that's where that RB13 could be a little skewed. Now, am I saying he'd be RB30? No, but he'd be closer to, RB18 than he would be 13. So go ahead, Shane. You can.
The Falcons' offense could be even better going forward under Heineke. So we've only had one game to see where, they didn't use Bijan this time, but maybe going forward, they're going to get him in passing game and everything. So
I real quick want to see what your guys' thought process is on this, because obviously Arthur Smith has a hard on for angering fantasy football managers. Do you think he's purposely not using Bijan just as like, I don't care if it costs me to lose, I'm doing this to spite?
I don't think it has anything to do with fantasy football. I think it's the smartest man in the room mentality. He's trying to be too creative. And it's the whole system in general is flawed. Like, it's a pass heavy league. The whole system. So like, I don't hate jet sweeps with Jonnu Smith and shit like that. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the entire philosophy of the offense and not using like Kittle the right way and stuff like that. You know, Drake London, Heineke should have been in. He's the better quarterback. He should have been in. Probably didn't fit the run system as well. So, I mean, I think it's poor coaching. I don't think it has anything to do with fantasy football. I think that's just the narrative that the media pushes.
That's fair. Shane, let's go to you. Who's your bust?
Who's my bust?
Yeah.
You said. I got three. I'm gonna Najee, Ramondre. Okay, I got four. Ridley, and then T. Higgins.
Okay, that's fair. I think all those are fair for where they were drafted.
Not so much going forward, especially for T. Higgins. But
I would hope you didn't expect him to be a bust going forward and trade for him.
Yeah, I had T. Higgins. I was thinking about T. Higgins as well too, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put him on my list, but I was thinking about him. But I think, you know, like you said, if you look into the future, like you look at that first section of Cincinnati when Burrow was injured and like they were kind of warming up. Burrow was getting healthier. Since Burrow's been getting better, T. Higgins has been improving. So he is kind of like a bust in terms of what happened, but I don't know. I think he's definitely got a good future.
And you get a little bit better each week with that rib injury. So he's probably almost back to 100%. But yeah, being drafted in the second round and being wide receiver number like 52 or whatever that he is, that's like, you can't really not include him in a bust conversation.
Yeah.
But Nate, he drafted Ramondre real high. He's been sitting on his bench the whole year pretty much. And
I had Ramondre on mine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a third rounder, Ramondre.
I think the QB situation there didn't develop like they wanted to. That offense in general isn't meshing. So like, yeah, Ramondre, he had a big game last week, but I think in the third round you were looking for a little more than what he has been.
You were looking for that RB, like 8 to 14 at worst from him, and you're not getting that on a weekly basis.
If Nate plays Ramondre, he wins that week against
there's a lot
of hard one to play, dude.
Yeah,
New England backs have always been hard to play. Last
Craig, do you have anyone else? I know. Oh, sorry, Shane. You had more.
No, you're good. You go ahead, Shane.
No, I just was going to say the matchup was really good with Ramondre this week.
Yeah.
Against the Commanders.
Yeah, but he's had a lot of good matchups and not performed. So I don't blame Nate for not playing, especially since I benefited. But yeah. So Craig, did you have? I know we mentioned a couple of yours.
Yeah, we went over most of mine. I mean, I think Najee, Harris, Calvin Ridley, and Dameon Pierce speak for themselves. We talked about that earlier. It sucked that I had to put three of Funk's players on this list, but that's also, why his record is the way it is. They're not performing to where he drafted them. The one I have on here that no one mentioned currently would be Miles Sanders. He was a fifth. He was a fifth round. Yeah, he was a fifth round pick, which I think once you start getting that fifth round, you start getting a little more flyer. But the whole idea of him, he did get elite production the first couple of weeks, but with that injury and that offense sucking, not worth it. Didn't work out. Horrible pick.
Yeah, and
waste of a fifth round.
To piggyback off you, I put Darren Waller down for me. I admitted that was a reach, but I also had high expectations, and he nowhere close to met those. So for me, he was a bust, so I had him down as well. Okay, so those were our busts. If you have busts of your own, leave it in the comments.
I busted on the stage. Oh,
nothing sexual, please. B-Man, who was your steal?
Oh boy, that I do not know.
I can give you one, BB.
Go
okay.
for it.
Yep. Go, Craig.
DeAndre Swift in the 6th. He's averaging 14.44 points a game. And if he stays healthy on an offense that's coming together, he's probably going to end a top 10 back for a 6th round back. Well done.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah. And I don't know if Shane, if you meant with this, if you meant from our own team, I kind of went just around the league and did it.
Do you have one for every team?
I have one for like 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah, I'm with Craig. It's not every team, but for like a couple teams. But Shane, I'll let you go next. Who's your steal or steals? I don't know how many you have.
Yeah, I got one for every team, but my top 3 of the entire league, I have ETN, Laporta.
That's a good one. Yep, I had Laporta.
Oh, I didn't even think about Laporta. That's a really good one.
And then Keenan Allen.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
He's like up there with Diggs and freaking AJ Brown.
Yeah, Keenan Allen has looked really good.
Yeah,
Yep.
Shane, I'm curious. Name off from every team. We won't talk about them, but name off the rest.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Justin, AJ Brown, ETN, and I thought his worst one was actually Devontae Adams, is for value.
Sure.
So we got that for every team. Moving over to Dan, I thought JT, Jonathan Taylor, was his best value in the 4th round. Going forward, he's going to be really good heading into the playoffs. Dan's already almost secured playoffs, so his worst one, he didn't have really that bad of one, but Deshaun Watson would probably be his worst draft pick.
Yeah, that's hard though. He was like what, 9th round or something like that. So like,
yeah,
that's kind of hard to call him like a bust necessarily, or just a bad pick, I guess, because that you're kind of, especially at QB, you're QB 7, 8, 9 right there in the 9th round.
Like,
so.
If I have to pick one, then that's
for
my
sure.
pick.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yep.
With Mac, I got Keenan Allen and TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson consistent number 2 tight end on the year.
Yeah, he's been good.
Even this week, he had double digits without Kirk Cousins.
And
then I thought his worst was actually Tony Pollard, who, he's not bad, but he's been underperforming big time.
For what you kept him for, he's not living up to that for sure.
Yep. Nate Dogg, I got Pacheco, Nico Collins.
Yeah.
And Ramondre for his bust.
Nice.
But yeah, Pacheco, seems like the Chiefs are not doing the committee with CEH and McKinnon. It's more like just Pacheco getting the bulk of everything.
Yeah. No, he's been good.
McKinnon poached him last week, but I bet he was pissed.
Yeah. Right before, Craig's like, great switch up on the flex.
He fucking got on Discord. He's like, Craig, tell me why I need to play Pacheco. I'm like, I'll tell you why I need to play Pacheco, buddy. And I'm like, listen, though, I'm just going to tell you why I like both these players, and I'm going to let you make the decision, because I don't want to make the decision, because every time I tell him to do something, it turns out bad.
Sure.
But if you look at Pacheco, was still his better play than compared to what his bench had. So it was still a better play on his bench.
Yep.
But besides Ramondre, who he wasn't going to play. Anyway.
We won't talk about Ramondre.
Right. He wasn't going to play either way.
Yeah.
Let's get through these ones.
Value for Craig, I have Addison and Mixon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Mixon in the 4th. I think going forward, the Bengals are firing. He's going to be solid, even RB1 outcome and RB1 going forward. My best is Gibbs. I don't have very impressive Cowboys defense and Gibbs.
Cowboys defense has been pretty gnarly at times.
Yeah.
So
it's won you games. It's literally won you games.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Everybody else isn't necessarily a bust with Devontae Smith and Kenneth Walker. I don't know who else, but Christian Kirk I drafted.
You don't have.
Anyways, Bijan's my biggest bust. I'm calling it.
Good man.
Bold statement.
Barber's best value would be Breece Hall in the 4th.
Yep.
And Tyreek Hill is just Tyreek Hill. I think him and CMC are clearly the 2 best fantasy players in the league by far.
He's probably on a run of like Antonio Brown.
Right.
So go ahead, Shane. Keep going.
And then Kyle Pitts was his bust. B-Man, you got two really good ones in Swift and Laporta. Those are two really good ones.
Yes, sir.
And then Cooper Kupp would be his worst.
Or Hopkins. Hopkins wasn't that great for the longest time. Maybe going forward better, but
Brand's like, or the rest of my team, who knows?
Barkley's not that great. Like, he carried the ball 36 times one game, couldn't break 100 yards. So,
right.
For a second round pick.
Missed a P-Funk. I thought Evan Ingram was pretty solid tight end. Consistent. And then CMC, out of everyone at number 2, he made the right pick. Instead of getting Bijan, he got CMC, and that, now he has a chance to make the playoffs. If he had Bijan, he would be, he probably wouldn't have a win.
Imagine if you had kept CMC, Shane.
Yeah.
Instead of Kenneth Walker.
That last cup with Bren's mom and Dan, that was number 10 for me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Then I would kept CMC. Yeah. And
anyway.
Josh Kamara and David Montgomery. Your two best
Kamara was a reach.
I'm pretty sure you're the only person who has said that.
No, I know at least.
The very first day when you drafted him, you're like, first reach of the draft. And then you picked him, and then since then you've been defending your own argument.
It's one of those I was getting ahead of it because I knew what you guys were gonna say, but it's worked out for me,
He's been phenomenal for sure.
Shane, you don't have to say my boss. I know who. It's Darren Waller and probably a couple other people.
Had your quarterbacks, even though you can't really control injuries, but Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields in the 5th round.
Yeah, you don't have to remind me about that. I know all about my injury, Shane. I'm just messing, buddy.
Yeah. That is everybody.
All right, yeah. So a couple people that I had that haven't been mentioned. Thielen, and I'm not just saying that because he's on my team now, but he was drafted in the 15th round and he's wide receiver 8, so that's pretty damn good value. I didn't even draft him, so you guys can't even put that on it.
These segments just to do
I know, bro. It's unreal.
This was Shane's segment, so fuck off. All right.
I was like, so Shane, you want to do this segment? Yeah.
No. It was Shane.
I've got like 8 stats on Thielen that really knocked their socks off.
Wow. I don't even want to do this no more. No, let's just go to picks. I don't want to say the rest of them. Let's just go to
fuck
picks.
You. I'm going to say mine. The only one I had. Well, first of all, Thielen.
No, I'm going to mute your ass.
You can't. You don't have. Does he have admin in this Discord? You better hope this piece of shit doesn't have admin in this Discord, dude. Thielen is a value. You can't argue with what he's done up to this point in the 15th round. Thielen is an obvious value.
Absolutely.
Moving forward, it's gambling, right? It's like Frank Gore. When is the gas going to run out? You know what I'm saying?
You can say that about everybody, though.
Yeah, when there's 30-something, he's old as shit. You're not saying that about Diggs. Like, he's not old enough yet. You're not saying that about fucking Tyreek Hill. We're done with this. This is the last time.
Literally, no one else is saying that but you, Craig. You're the only one saying.
You could say it about anybody. You just said you could say it about anybody. And no, we're not saying it about anybody. We're saying about Thielen, who's old.
No, but I'm saying you could. If I wanted to, I could say, hey, yeah, when is Diggs? Because Diggs is getting old. Josh Allen's falling off a cliff. He could just stop being really good.
Mike Evans was my other value pick. Good job. Mike Evans is balling out. Drafted
I don't know. He's over 30. He doesn't count. He's over 30.
Oh, my God.
Too old.
He's over 30 and was drafted higher. Doesn't count.
He's too old.
He's too old.
I can't tell you.
So I also had Monty on there, Montgomery, in the 9th round.
Yeah, that's a definite steal.
I had.
Hey, I have a thought with Montgomery. Maybe
he was the 8th. Either way, it's still a good value.
Yeah, I had him on my value list as well.
And then I also had Addison, who was mentioned, and Mostert.
Absolutely.
So I also had Addison.
Yeah.
Who was mentioned, and Mostert. I drafted him in the 15th, dropped him after week 1, and then he goes off.
Yeah, most are really balled out. That was surprising.
Yep.
Stayed healthy.
Yep.
Who else? Do you have more than that, Craig?
No, just Mike Evans. I had Monty. I had everyone else you guys mentioned. Alvin Kamara, all those boys. Great draft. Great value. Great value.
Hey, one that we didn't mention, Devon A-Chain.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I hope so. I certainly hope so. He's a fast boy, and he's going to come back out.
And to be fair to Craig's point, like he's had an explosive 3 or 4 games, but outside of that, he's also been injury riddled in between. So that's why it was kind of hard for me to put him in that. But if he continues it going forward, yeah, he's going to be a hell of a value.
Very small sample size.
Right, and that's why I didn't put him because it was such a small sample size for that.
I agree.
So that's what I was.
We do have Wilson. Yeah, we do have all 3 RBs with Wilson, Mostert, and A-Chain.
I wouldn't put Wilson in.
Yeah, who's putting Wilson in there, bro? What are you talking about?
Well, it's the first time that they're all healthy at once.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Him coming off, yeah. I thought you were saying put Wilson in the fucking steal category. I was like, dude, you are high.
A-Chain.
All right. Anyone else got anything to add in that one?
Yeah. No.
No, let's do these matchups real quick. Don't break them down too much.
Yeah, we'll go to these matchups.
Let me hear who you think's winning.
All right, let's start off. Well, first, real quick, I went 4-1, and you guys both went 3-2 last week. So I'm 23-22 overall. Craig, you are 20-25, and B-Man, you're 22-23.
Hey guys,
slow.
Guys, I know I have
back to even. What's up, Shane?
So I'm actually undefeated. I haven't been,
Okay, Dan.
What the fuck is this with people that think that they're undefeated in these matchup picks? There's no fucking way. You'd be a gambling expert.
And I know he's wrong because
all year.
You know he's bullshitting because every week he would pick himself. Shane's not picking against himself, and he has 3 losses. So therefore, he's at least got 3. He's at least got 3 wrong on the year for sure.
Oh no, Josh, here. It's because I was picking myself, but then you made that trade, and then I had to switch over. Dan's gonna beat me. So.
That's fine. That's still 1 week, so that leaves 2 other losses that I know for damn well you would have picked yourself. So.
I don't know. Shane's pretty honest. Shane's a pretty honest guy. I trust him. Undefeated.
Undefeated for sure. All right,
anyway.
let's get to the picks. We'll start with Barber versus myself here. I'm going myself. Shane, who are you gonna go?
Hey, can you guys still see me if I go out of Discord and go into Sleeper?
No, you pop off, but it's okay. You can look into the Sleeper, bud. Just turn your camera off.
Still.
Yeah, you can just talk.
All right. Well, I got Josh.
We didn't want to see his face anyways.
Hold up, let me get to it. Yeah. No, I do have Josh because you have really good matchups with Montgomery against the Chargers, Kamara against the Vikings. Yeah, you have really good matchups, and I think Barber might be without Jamar Chase, and Tyreek Hill is on bye, so his big powerhouse guys might not play.
Yeah, I might luck out with that one.
And then I just think you have good matchups with CeeDee Lamb against the Giants. Come on, Adam Thielen versus the Bears, and then Kamara, the Vikings, and they don't have a good defense either. So you got good matchups. I'd be surprised if you lose this week.
Well, Shane, I don't know if you've heard, Thielen's 33, so his streak is over of good games.
Dude, I hope he fucking sucks the rest of the year. You can eat all your words. All of them.
I will, too. I've gladly eaten my words when I've been wrong. Just be ready to eat yours, Craig.
No,
be ready to eat
yours. I refuse.
I'll make you dig some holes, all right? I don't wanna. I'm tired of this. Anyways, Craig, who you got?
Yeah, matchups are close, but I do think the Barber has some good matchups, and I think a lot of your guys coming off injury are going to be on a snap count, so I'm going to give it to Barber.
I'm
Good,
also
because I didn't want.
leaning towards Barber. He's got that like odd production these last few weeks from like guys like Gus. Um, Cole Kmet has
Devontae.
looked really good. So
He can plug in Javante at his flex. He's been getting like 20 carries a fucking game,
right,
dude. A lot
yeah.
of production.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he plays Javante, he's got more of a chance.
I think he will.
But without Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill, you guys can see him pulling it off.
Yeah, like just what Brent just said. He's getting odd production. He's got a top tier quarterback. That's all it takes. And again, Josh has really good matchups. I just think snap count. A lot of like a couple of his players, like Montgomery, if he comes out and plays, his first week back is probably more like a 50-50, 40-60 split, I think, personally. Could be
I've
wrong.
hated
He's my
Fields all year long. I think he's just waiver wire
He's
trash.
honestly, he's probably not even
him and
playing.
Thielen belong in the
Okay,
same
good,
fucking
good.
group.
So I'll have to find a replacement for
I
him.
do like Aaron Jones though. Aaron Jones, he
I
will
know.
make
I
me
told
lean
you.
your way. Maybe you send him my way. I change my pick. You never know.
You heard about this Taysom Hill guy? You heard about this Taysom Hill guy?
Brent, I told you I would accept that, but I
I
don't want
know.
two Saints. That's why part of the reason I traded Olave too. I didn't want to rely on two Saints. It wasn't working
Sure.
out for me,
No,
So
not the greatest
and
offense.
and Taysom Hill is very get you 2 points. He just look at his things: 2 points 3 weeks in a row, and then 2 weeks of 20. Like I can get that from almost any tight end if I want to have that type of floor. I'd like a little more safety, especially if I'm getting rid of Aaron Jones. If it
Yeah,
was like lesser, like Chuba Hubbard or something, sure, I'll
yeah.
take that risk. But anywho, all right, so we got, yep. I didn't want the clean sweep, so thanks, boys, because that's been bad luck for us when it's a clean
That
sweep.
has
We
been.
don't,
Good point.
we don't do that. So, all right, let's go. Funk versus Nate here. Get to that matchup. I'm gonna go Nate with the rebound here. Um, he gets his key players back with Amon Ra and stuff. He doesn't have Kelsey, but I think he'll be all right with Kincaid in there. So I'm going Nate. B-Man, who you going?
Same. I'm gonna go with Nate. I'm not loving the running back situation for good old P
Mm-hmm.
Funk there, and then Derek Carr just screaming at his team all game, every
Yeah.
game. So I wouldn't start him.
So I hate to do this, but I am going to go Funk. I voted Nate
Oh,
every single week, and he's losing, so I think it's my fault.
Could be.
But
that
my main point is Jacksonville versus the 49ers. He's going to plug in Lawrence. He's going to plug in McCaffrey. And Raiders versus the Jets this week could really help him out a lot. That could be a huge. He could get 20 points from his defense. So
yeah, that's crazy that Funk could have like 5 of his players be in that one game.
yeah, 100%.
Because I think he also has Jake Moody, who's the kicker for San Fran. So if he puts him in there as well, I think he has 5 or 6 of those, in that game. Just crazy. Shane, here you go.
This is a tough one. I'm going with Nate. I think just because half of Funk's team is the Jaguars, and they're playing against 49ers defense, so that's a big factor. And I like Nate's matchups with Amon Ra versus the Chargers. Um,
See, and I
Buccaneers
also.
just
Sorry, Shane, go ahead.
Buccaneers just gave up a bunch of points to the Texans, so Derrick Henry's playing against the Bucks.
I just go back to the Funk is constantly in the bottom 3 of scoring, and Nate is constantly up there, so that his luck just has to like. There's no way Funk's gonna be up there that high in scoring 2 weeks in a row. Like he hasn't done it yet. So
I
I
hope you
also feel
know
like
if Nate
go
wins
ahead.
this, it's because of me because I voted Funk. So Nate, you're welcome.
But if he loses, you also picked against him. So you
I had
mean
nothing to
nothing
do
to
with it at
him.
that point. Come on.
You mean nothing to him. No, you mean nothing to him.
Shane has this much accountability. I have that much
That's fair.
accountability.
At least you're admitting it, so that's fair. That's fair. All right, let's go to Shane versus Mac. Big boy matchup here. Shane, I'm assuming you're going yourself, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yep, top of the division over here. Who wins it? I do.
Good way to put it.
So, Macamood, he has all of his trio going against the Lions defense, which Eckler, I think Eckler will get he'll get managed, I guess is the best word, because of the Lions' run defense. And then he does have a great matchup with Pollard against the Giants, but I think Jamar Chase is out this weekend, unfortunately for Barber, and then the Burrow to T. Higgins connection is going to be elite against the Texans. Bijan finally has a good game against the Arizona Cardinals. Good matchup. Kenneth Walker has a better matchup with Washington. And DK is also against Washington. And Jahmyr Gibbs against the Chargers. Great matchups. Going myself in a high-scoring affair.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Shane as well for good matchups, and I think Higgins is gonna eat because Jamar probably won't play.
Yeah, I'm going Shane as well. The triple stack against Detroit's. I think
No
that's going to
bueno.
be troublesome.
Also, Arthur Smith probably saves his job this week because he's just gonna run Bijan against Arizona, and they'll get like 30 points. Be like, you see?
I'm actually going Mac because I actually think the reverse of you guys. Yeah, Detroit's a good defense, but they're susceptible to the pass, and that's only, and they're really good against the run, so that's only going to funnel targets to Eckler and Keenan Allen. So I think any production coming from them is gonna. Unfortunately, I think you're gonna get a lot of the double dips of Allen touchdown pass to Eckler, Allen touchdown, or Herbert touchdown pass to Allen. Like that, which isn't good for you. And then like the Joe Burrow and T. Higgins matchup. Yeah, there's no Chase, but Houston has been known for years to be a bad matchup for Cincy, and it's not because they're a great defense, but it's just because teams can run on Houston, and that's all they do. But we'll see, because that could be a shootout. If CJ Stroud shows up like he did last week, and that's a shootout, then yeah, that's a good matchup for you. But
the highest over/under this week is Detroit versus Chargers. It's 48.
Right, which is not good for Shane.
Correct.
In a way,
I agree.
He does have Gibbs, so that could help in that aspect. Sure. But you don't want the other three for Mac to.
Also, mathematically speaking, like his trio stack had a bad week last week, and it's like every 66% chance he has a good week. So mathematically, might be fucked.
But I don't like to hear that.
Mathematically, you might be fucked. I love it.
Some quick Jew math there for you.
But Shane, I may have saved you though. So if you win this week, Shane, it was because of me, because I didn't go you, which then reversed the curse of the clean sweep. So if you win, you really owe me $10. So.
Oh yeah, just send me your Venmo.
You should have it. Let's go Dan versus Craig here. Let's go this one. The triple stack. Craig, assuming you're going yourself, buddy.
Real quick, I want to just comment. I love that Dan has put a little picture icon with his team name. People participate. Put a little picture with your team name. It looks a lot better. I like that.
Who's that? Dude, I got a handsome guy in mind. You know who he is.
I do. I don't understand why you went with him. Was it just handsomeness?
We look exactly alike. What are you talking about? This literally just looks just like me. Come on. He's a little skinnier than me, but I will probably not play the Chargers this week. Just so you guys know. But with that being said, yes, I am going to go myself. It could be interesting if, it could be interesting. I'll let you guys talk about it.
I'm still trying to get over. Nick Bosa's like 6'5",
No, I'm like
245.
6'5". Look at.
Craig, you're so fucking short, dude.
I gotta look my camera up. I'm so tall. These ceilings here are 10 feet tall.
You know
I
how
have 10
cameras
foot
are
tall ceilings.
deceiving, dude.
Yeah.
I bet you'd
I mean,
make
we
your
all,
dick look just as big as you.
hey,
oh, trust me, it does. It
we
does.
all know we all know he's forcing Kelsey on all fours and standing on her back. Just,
Get
babe,
down, woman.
I gotta look taller.
Look how tall I
B-Man, you got a pick for this?
Shoot, dude, I gotta go with Dan. It's just, ever since that trade, his team's just filled 2 holes.
Dude, it's
Everybody, lay it on
unreal.
him. If you listen to the pod, text Josh. Be like, fucking idiot. What is that trade? Make him feel bad.
Shane, who are you going?
Man, it's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Dan because Dak Prescott against the Giants, great matchup. Um, Olave against the Vikings, and then Craig. His Ravens play against a pretty tough Browns defense. Josh Jacobs against a tough Jets defense. So, for those reasons, going with Dan Boy.
Yeah, I'm going Dan as well. This might be the most unstoppable team ever assembled after last week. So
There you go.
I think, there's no stopping it. He has all the young, big dick stud players that I
Young.
wish I would have had. But just, I like old men, It is what it is. So going Dan. And especially as Craig took himself, I don't have to worry about the whole clean sweep thing. So
I'm going to go
you,
Dan.
Craig.
I'm going to go Dan.
Too late. Card
What's
laid is a
9
card
over?
played. Nope.
Fuck.
Card laid is a card. Play it where it lies, Craig. My left arm is slightly longer than my right. Let's finish it. Let's finish it off with Bren versus Justin. B-Man, assuming you're going yourself, right?
Yeah, I mean, I screwed it
Easy
up
money.
week 1. I will not screw up again.
B-Man, who's your QB?
Don't worry about it.
Are you gonna put Taysom Hill there?
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal. He's got the QB tag there. Jeez. Craig, who you going?
Well, this is a fun one. You guys have bye weeks. You both have bye weeks, and it's going to be a really close matchup. I don't think you're going to get a quarterback, Brent. I can just say that. I don't think you'll get the what waiver wire pick are you?
I think number 1. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're not getting a quarterback.
Put in for a quarterback.
You're not getting a quarterback. The only one worthwhile will be going. By
Well,
Josh.
damn, I wasn't.
Josh or somebody will pick him up, dude. But
I wasn't going to, but I might now.
I'm gonna. Brent, I think you pull this out. I think you find some way to get on there, get on the waiver wire. I like Pickens, even though he's trash, but I mean, I think you could have a big. You got Laporte, and you're good.
I'm good.
You got a good match. I like it.
Shane, who you going, buddy?
Going with Justin. He's got a. Let's see. Bren just has some tough matchups even without his bye weeks. He's got Saquon going against the Dallas defense, Jacoby Myers going against the Jets defense. So, and if he plays Christian Kirk, he's going against the 49ers. So some tough defenses. We'll see if CJ Stroud, see if he can continue what he's doing.
Every week prior to that game, by the way, was like 15 points or less for CJ Stroud. So like,
That's how
I
this
don't
game
know
works.
who put that picture up that like showed the life cycle or whatever. It's like I had him for 3 weeks, fucking drop him, boom, it goes off.
Well, and I think part of that, B-Man, is because they were playing in close games that weren't shootouts. They were all lower scoring games, where last week it was a shootout. So, like, I feel like that's part of it, where this week could be that. But Cincinnati also has shown that they could play
Yeah,
a
so good.
lower scoring game, too. So, that could be 50-50. If it's a shootout, he'll put up. If not,
He got
he'll
Tank
probably
Dell
put up
back.
15.
He got Tank Dell back, which was big. It helps.
Yeah. And I don't know, because, you thought, like, when they faced Jacksonville that they would be in a shootout, and they really weren't. So, like I said, it could not be, and that's when I think Bren would have a chance, but we'll see. Yeah, this is a tough one. My heart wants to go Bren, but I got to think for the playoffs. So I'm going Justin so that he can beat B-Man and
That
help me to my goal of making the playoffs, be an epic comeback. I'm going to pull Justin from last year when he was in the depths. 4 weeks ago, he wasn't even sure if he was going to make the playoffs, and he hit a streak and won the ship. That's going to be my team. Adam Thielen leading the way. 30-year-old Adam Thielen pulls his hammy as he catches me the game-winning touchdown to win me the championship. It'll be the greatest love story ever wrote. Trust me.
in your
I,
face.
I wouldn't be mad. That'd be sweet. That'd be cool to see. That'd be a lot of fun.
All right, boys, let's the picks. You guys got anything else before we sign off? Shane, thank you for coming on, brother. It was very fun.
I appreciate this league. This league's a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah.
All 9 of you. I have to deal with Josh's trades and everything. Thank you.
Good
You know
segment
what, Shane?
idea, Shane.
Hey.
Appreciate your segment idea, buddy. That was solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for coming to the
And
show
Shane,
with something. That's cool.
next time you want to trade, I'm never trading with you again because my
Oh,
trades
no.
are shit.
Oh
So
no.
I mean,
See? So you gotta be nice to him. You gotta be nice to
Yeah,
him.
you
He's one of
gotta
his
be
players.
nicer, Shane. You already
Come
get
on.
ranked dead last every year by him.
okay, real quick, I do have to get this off my chest, all right? Because Dan really, I don't know why what he said really pissed me off, but it did. Let me read it to you guys, word for word. Okay, it was just because I read it. I don't know if it's how I read it, whatever. But so he sent me a trade. God, what was it for? It was Olave and Kittle for CD Lamb, right?
Yeah.
And so he said Kittle and Olave for CD, and I just said no. LOL. And then he goes, "You ain't making it to the playoffs without a tight end." LOL. Trying to give you a top 5 one with wide receiver 1 Olave. and, and I was like, "Get out of here, my man!" And then that's when I put him on blast in the group chat. And so then he's like, "What part isn't true?" LOL. Your points 4 going to cost you the playoffs unless you beat Bren, Nate, and Funk by a game each. I don't see that with Geraldo Everett. Okay, first of all, we just got done breaking down how close the games are, so it's anything still possible. And there's 5 weeks left. He acts like there's 1 week left or something, and I need a miracle to make it. And second of all, he acts like I'm going to keep Gerald Everett in my lineup forever. Like, I was obviously streaming tight ends. Like, get the hell out of here. And then I was like, whatever advantage I get from having Kittle is lost by the downgrade from Lamb to Olave. Well, that's fair. So you're saying Puka and Kittle for Lamb since Puka is an upgrade? LOL. I was like, oh my god, like this guy, like,
Bro, I will tell you, Dan is an
Such a
expert.
smart ass.
Dude, he's an expert at getting under your skin. He does it to me all the time. It's so natural. He's really good at it. And he does it on purpose.
well, the thing that
to piggy off Shane's thing is I love all you guys. You're all great.
Mhm.
Everything that we do in this is all related in this realm of fantasy
Yes.
football. So you
Right.
guys know. Because myself personally, I like to overreact. That's I find it fun to create drama within a certain respect, but the trade was fine. Just so you know, I like to hammer you, but just do it to me if it happens to me. It's all around. Everyone should be doing it. That's why I like it. So.
Yeah, no, it's mostly just for fun.
Yeah, well, to that point, like Dan and I, we're not going to hate each other over this, right? I mean, how many times have me and Craig gone at it literally ripping each other's throat out over nothing. And we go golfing the next day.
Dude,
You know,
the
like
season ends.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no one to bitch at. I got no one to ram, dude. Like, I got nothing. Like, I
Well,
live through
it's-
this fantasy football season and just looking at my phone and being happy or pissed or irritated. Like,
Yeah, you've always got something to look at
Yeah.
though during fantasy football season.
well, and it's hilarious because like I'll be like, the season ends, and I'll be like, God, thank God I don't have to like argue with Craig no more or deal with any of this fantasy drama bullshit. And then come the NFL draft, I'm like, I
Yeah.
miss it.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah, I'm like, I miss it.
Ugh.
So, but all right, boys, we'll call it a night, and everyone, good luck.
Fuck
All right,
And-
thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Talk to you guys later. See
We're
ya.
on